term community service is used not only to describe the act of volunteering to make the world a better place, but it also describes a punishment that the court system gives out instead of fines or a jail sentence. Community service, when it's court-ordered, is a slap on the wrist. It is a warning that if you behave this way again, there will be serious repercussions next time. In this regard, we as a society acknowledge that community service is something unpleasant. It's something that we force people to do, and perhaps good people force themselves to do. For some individuals, volunteering is a burden or a cross to bear. But somebody's got to do it, right? It's important work. There are folks that come out and fight the good fight once a year, once a month, once a week, every day even. If you find yourself fitting into this category of being one of these good people that pick up that burden and drag it for the time slot you committed to, I'd like to ask you to stop. I know that sounds counterintuitive. Jamie, aren't you supposed to be encouraging us to do community service? This is important work. Somebody's got to do it. You're right. You're all right. I'm not asking you to stop serving your community. I'm asking you to stop engaging in volunteer activities that make you miserable. By hating what you're doing and doing it anyway, you're giving service a bad name. The ways that one can serve his or her community come in as many varieties as flowers, or appetizers, or uses for duct tape. I guarantee that there is something you absolutely love, and there is a way that you can make that into something that makes life better, even if just a little bit, for another beating heart. Maybe it's bringing food to someone who needs it. Maybe it's mentoring a child. Maybe it's painting a homeless drop-in center. Maybe it's walking a dog. That job that is your perfect match could be out there somewhere. You just need to find it. Some people think that community service is all about altruism or being the opposite of selfish. I disagree. Done the right way, community service is connecting your passion to someone or something else's need, rather than thinking of it as doing something for someone less fortunate than yourself. Think of it as a partnership or an exchange. I love playing music. You need an emotional release. Let's dance it out. I love that feeling when you see a dog's tail start wagging and you need to get out of the animal shelter and stretch your legs for a bit. I got the leash. Let's go for a walk. Service is about paying attention to your outside world and then taking the appropriate action. Man, that park would look a whole lot better if it wasn't littered with garbage. I have a trash bag. I have a couple minutes. Let me just take care of that quickly. When you're mindful of the world around you, there's benefits that are separate from just, being mindful of the world around you has its own benefits. When you interact with that world in a way that acknowledges and serves the needs of others, you're creating connections that make your community and your world stronger. My mother used to tell us that we could not dislike a type of food until we tried it and had given it a fair shake. Something that seems strange or funny might just be delicious. I'd say the same is true for community service. Try serving different populations. Try working alongside different people. Try doing different jobs. You never know what you might end up enjoying. Do some internet research or visit a local nonprofit. Check out your animal shelters, your homeless drop-in centers, your homeless service providers, your child care providers, your prisons. Visit them. Give them a call. Check them out. Don't commit to a long-term stay, but tell them that you'd like to try it and see if it's something for you. See if you can get your toes wet before diving in. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep the commitments that you make, but avoid making long-term commitments at first. Through years of sampling, I have discovered that I do not enjoy helping the men and women who live at the nursing home learn how to use the internet. But I do enjoy putting on a costume and performing at the nursing home summer luau. I do not enjoy helping children with homework, but I do enjoy taking kids on educational trips. I do not enjoy serving meals at the soup kitchen, but I do enjoy getting together the writers and poets who use the services of the soup kitchen to talk about creative writing and to put together a literary magazine. I absolutely love getting together with my musician friends and playing rock and roll with people with developmental disabilities. For any musician out there who could use a confidence boost, performing for audiences like the Arc, Mercer, or Allies will have you feeling like Bruce Springsteen or Cher. Sometimes there's work that needs to be done, but it's not part of any regularly scheduled programming. There's not a coordinator to tell you where to go or when to show up. These jobs, but you see that there's a need, you see that there's something that needs to be done, you have an idea of something that could help. These jobs are usually the kind that are more work, but if it's work you enjoy, it doesn't feel like work at all, so let me rephrase that. These jobs usually require more effort. But if you think about it, life's most worthwhile endeavors usually require more effort. Through the soup kitchen where I work, I met a man named Chuck Inman. He was a phenomenal supporter of hungry folks in the New Jersey, Philadelphia area. He passed away about 2 years ago. He founded an organization called the Battle Against Hunger, which has raised approximately $800,000 for local nonprofits who work on the front line serving people who cannot afford to buy food. About 13 years ago, Chuck saw a need that these nonprofits were doing important work and they lacked sufficient resources, so he wanted to do something to help. The concept of Battle Against Hunger reminds me of a game that my friends and I used to play in college. When I was in college, my friends and I invented a game that we called I'll Do This If You Do That. It's essentially like truth or dare without the truth, except both sides can bargain until all parties agree that the dares exchanged are equal in value. And value is defined differently for each person. So to get back to my Chuck story, Chuck loved riding his bike, so he got his friends together and he said, we will ride our bicycles from Pennington to Gettysburg, that's 200 miles, over one weekend. If we do this, will you support these important nonprofits? Also, if we do this, does anyone want to ride alongside in a car to make sure we can do it? Essentially, Chuck's challenge followed the same principles of I'll do this if you do that. And people played Chuck's game too. Turns out people will pay money to see their friends or family do something a little crazy, like bike 200 miles in 2 days. Through Chuck's challenge, the Battle Against Hunger has created 13 years worth of good times, has created scores of unlikely friendships, has generated hundreds of thousands of dollars for local nonprofits, and it's fun. You may be thinking, what about the jobs that aren't fun? Somebody's got to do them. While this is true, if you hate that job so much, does it have to be you? Have you ever eaten at a restaurant and you can tell that the waiter hates his job? Or have you ever asked a customer service representative for help and you can tell that she cannot wait for her shift to end? It doesn't make for a pleasant experience and it doesn't make you want to stick around. Now, imagine that eating at a soup kitchen is your only option and you can tell that the person dishing out your mashed potatoes is there because they think no one else will do it. It's not like you can just go to a different restaurant. When we engage in behavior that makes us miserable, our misery is often contagious. You're doing a disservice to service. It is more than likely that someone else would be happy to dish out those mashed potatoes. Go and find a volunteer job that makes you excited. The world that we live in is made better when we connect to each other, when we serve a common goal, and when we work together to help each other out. Through community service, you are simultaneously serving something greater than yourself and doing something to improve your own life. If you select a form of service you enjoy, the benefits double. Volunteerism has the ability to take you places that you never thought possible, and it has the ability to help you redefine yourself. Do yourself a favor and use your passion to brighten life for another. That brightness will illuminate your own life too. Thank you.